we got a game, guys. Classical chess. Let's if you have any suggestions for openings, I know the Ponciani is one of them. Let me know. Hey Nimza. Because we got some time to play some unusual stuff. Oops, missed a message from my girlfriend. F3, E4, B3. That's a bit uncommon. Let's transpose to some Sicilian. Berserk every game. Oh man, that defies the purpose of playing classical chess. Now she's angry. No, she's not angry. I had to text back now. There you guys. Okay, bishop g7. So far nothing special, just developing pieces here. Knight f4. He's playing a bit unorthodox. Let's put it that way. Not here to judge. I guess I just castle. Is he gonna castle queenside? What's he doing? Ah, he's gonna attack my king. That is a decent plan. It works. So how do we proceed here? I'm really tempted to go d5 to open up the center. Because his king is in the middle. And I also want to open up the diagonal all the way to the king there. And if d5, if he goes e5, I think I can put pressure with knight d7. I will eventually win the pawn since it's also pinned. Yeah, I'll go with d5. It feels good. Fried liver attack. I keep forgetting how the fried liver goes. Yeah, that's the one, right? Yeah, okay, now that. Let me check that line. Ah, that one. Okay, maybe I can give it a try. We'll see. So he takes the pawn on d5. Actually, I do have a choice here. I'm really tempted to go knight d4 because I wanna keep this bishop alive, I think. But I also want to continue with some queen d6. Let's make this one orange. I want to continue with queen d6, attacking the knight, but also targeting queen g3 check. And I guess I'm going to win the d5 pawn back anyway. Because if I take back here, he can exchange on g7, he can exchange on d5, and he's quite fine. So I want to go knight d4. Let's see what this is all about. Just a little temporary sacrifice. And how many websites is broadcasting? It's just on Lichess and on Twitch. I really like this move because I think this is a very, very dangerous move for him. Yeah, he defends the pawn. That is greedy. That's really greedy. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's greedy. Ooh, tricks. Tricks all over the place. Tricks all over the place, guys. Let's start with queen d6. Probably forcing g3 here. Good afternoon. Haraka Perkele, I think. g3, okay. That was expected. I was looking at b5. Just to give my position another tempo swing, but maybe I should prepare with a6 because I'm not in a hurry, I think. can also go knight f5 to put pressure on the g3 pawn. So many ideas. I like my knight here. I think it's nice. Let's leave it there for now. Let's go a6 and b5. Because I don't mind taking on d5, that's actually what I want. I just didn't want to exchange these bishops, so that's why the inclusion of knight d4 is, I think, quite useful. After b5, if he moves the bishop to d3, for example, I can take this pawn on d5. The knight is kind of pinned because of this pawn on g3 being a problem for white. So I like where this is going. I really like where this is going. He also can't move his queen because my knight is protecting e2. Casting kingside is possible, but I don't think that's what he wants. Bishop f5, putting pressure on c2. Well, the knight is still defending c2, so it is an idea, but not yet. I must say I haven't even considered the move, which is probably a little mistake on my side. Yeah, now he goes c3 anyway, and now I can play knight f5. I was actually waiting for him to make a move there, so I don't have to. I mean, c3 is clearly weakening his position, so playing a6 is a useful move. c3 and then knight f5. Yeah, now I can take care. I saw this one coming. King takes, knight h5 check, collecting the knight, and have a crushing attack because all his pieces are over here, not being able to help the white king at all. He takes. So I'm not sure if I have a direct checkmate idea. Probably queen g3 is a decent idea, but I'm not sure if it's like threatening checkmate of any kind. Yeah, this looks like position in one of your games where they push g4 and h5, you get in trouble. And when they do it with the king still in the center, I can advise you to open up the center, just like I did now, because then you can play against their unsafe king. Let me just collect a pawn here. That doesn't hurt. And eventually bring in some more pieces, maybe open up the e-file. And now I can bring another piece with check. It's looking pretty good so far. Ooh, I should have played knight f4 first. Slight inaccuracy there. Still a very good position, so that's okay. I had this move in mind. And we have a discovered attack on the next move, no matter where he goes. Still no checkmate, but won't be far. Lord Iron, hi. How do you put your FIDE title in your nick? You have to verify your account or get your account verified. If you're a title player, that's what you should do. Then they can award you, well, not award. They can show your title on your account. I guess it's. I'm not sure where the settings are exactly. You should check it yourself, I think. Yeah, now we're grabbing the queen as well. Discover check, and that's the end of the game. He can still continue to play if he likes, but he can also just resign. No, he likes to play. There you go. There you got the link. I don't know. This is just I have to make a few moves here to win the game. Ah, that scooter is making a hell lot of noise. If you guys don't hear that, I'm amazed. Yeah, this is too much. Chirp. So what's up with Chirp, Saverzak? What's the whole thing about this? Because you're the only ones using this one as my nickname. How and when did you discover leeches? I discovered it because of the people. No, I discovered it. I'm not sure. Let me think. I knew about this website for a while, um, but I didn't really take it serious up to a certain point because at that moment, also ICC and those other websites had, well, they were in debt at that point. Why do people continue these kind of positions? Um, but I think I really started to play here when I noticed the way they support streamers. So for a beginning streamer like I was a few months ago, it is the most logical place to start your streaming career because they're just doing an awesome job in supporting streamers. That's how I ended up on this site. And this account is also my first account here, so I'm not here that long. I live in the Netherlands. Favorite YouTube chess personality? Um, well, I mean, there are quite a few. I really enjoy Jerry, Chess Network. He's just fun and calm and entertaining, and he got the whole package. Um, also, I think well, I think when it comes to real chess and online chess and commentary and streaming and stuff like that, Svidler is probably the best there is around. Very high level of chess, good English, and can explain chess to almost every level of play. And yeah, that's quite important to me. Also think Ginger Jam is very entertaining to watch. His playing style is so much fun, and yeah, not always correct, but at least he's excited and always going for it. So that's nice. I think those are my top three of yeah of most favorite chess streaming or online personalities. When did Carlsen become a putzer? I don't know. It's happened a few years ago. No, he's struggling a bit. Um, I think he's trying to find a way to get even better, and it's quite difficult. And that's why he's struggling. How do you think? How many percentage of cheaters are on chess.com? I don't know. I hardly ever play there, so. Why are we still playing this game, by the way? Jeez. uh, I guess that's the downside of classical chess. I mean, why didn't I just checkmate him? Is it that difficult? Apparently it is. Fighting, yeah. I'll get an extra queen, guys. I'll just get an extra queen. He pretty much stalemated anyway. I mean, he just is down everything basically. Does he think I'm such a bad player? I don't know how to win this position. What is he thinking? Does he think? There we go. I mean, no one's forcing him to resign, but at some point, he should realize that it is over. Oh, sorry, piece of shit. I saw your message before, but no, I will get my ass kicked by Stockfish. easily. I'm not even gonna try that position. That's just I have no chance. Promote to bishop. Yeah, that might even take longer to win the game. Yeah, you're probably enjoying the game playing against Niam. Yeah, maybe you're right. Well, you know, the thing is, if some people do this in like official games as well, and they play on for ages, you know, being material down, like a full rook, totally losing game, just whatever, and then they play on and play on and play on, totally unnecessary, and then after the game they ask you if you want to analyze, and then they are surprised that you decline. um, yeah, it's a bit like that. You can't really. It's a little bit of chess etiquette, if that's how you pronounce it. Ethics, etiquette. How do you pronounce this? Is this even a word in English? I guess it is, but um, that's what I'm trying to say at least. Okay, g6. Now let me think. How do I? Let's just develop our pieces. Etiquette. Yeah, etiquette. Any guess for 2017 world champ? Well, that's a difficult one. I think Carlsen is still the best player, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to, um, you know, get his shit together, so to speak. Hmm, I want to go f4, f5 at some point, but normally I want to wait until he closes the center with d4. Until then, maybe it's time to push the h-pawn. Let's just give it a try. Because h5, at least we have bishop g5, nice grab for the bishop. And if he just ignores, we just push h5, try to, you know, maybe take or maybe even push h6 and still play bishop g5. I had no championship this year. Yeah, good point. Well, 2018 then. I think I would love to see Kramnik compete in the world title match or Aronian. I'm curious to see what Aronian can do when he has just one versus one opponent to focus on. I would really love to see that. And then against Carlsen, of course. So Carlsen Aronian, Carlsen Kramnik. Those are games I'm really looking forward to. If that happens to be a match, that's going to be amazing. I mean, the young kids like Wesley So, Fushida Graf, Nakamura. Well, Nakamura's not a young kid anymore. Kiri, all these guys, they'll get a chance. That's why I'm quite interested to see the stronger players at the moment, the older players at the moment, like Kramnik. We've seen Anand twice. I want to see Kramnik, Aronian, see how they do. Because let's be honest, we've seen Anand Gelfand, we've seen some Kramnik stuff, some Topolov stuff. Now Carlsen is there, and we've seen Carlsen Karyakin, but that wasn't the most exciting match, which was to be expected because Karyakin is very solid. And yeah, now I just want to see also Caruana. We'll see those guys later on, that's fine. But now I want to see Aronian, Kramnik. See how they do against Carlsen. I'm choosing the h-pawn because I want to weaken his king side a bit, and I just want to create some space advantage there. And I like my bishop on g5, and without the pawn on h6, he was always able to play h6 himself and chase away the bishop. So the h push is just to weaken his king side a bit. And I'm not scared of my own king, because he has no pieces to attack my king. And I'm looking to find a way to, push f4, f5 and try to really put pressure on his king. And for now he needs to defend against the e5, hitting the pinned knight. Yeah, Geary is quite boring, but he's changing his playing style, so it's getting better. He's had some very nice wins this year already, not against the top grandmasters. His game yesterday was quite good, but it's just preparation for the most part. But he's changing his game now, so I think we'll get to see more from Geary because I think he's noticing now that it's difficult to make the step to 28 plus if you play only solid chess. It's not going to be enough to beat those guys. Yeah, but playing a match is so different than playing a tournament. I mean, you can prepare for months for this match, and yeah, that's it's not comparable to a tournament. So I'm really curious to see a few players how they hold up in a match setting, a world match setting. I'm not sure why he's thinking for so long. I was expecting something like queen b6, but he takes the pawn on e4. I'll just take back with the pawn, that's fine. Still, this e5 move is a threat at this point. Okay, now he goes queen b6. That was to be expected. I guess I have to protect my b2 pawn. Can't just give it away. And maybe a simple rook b1 is fine. I gotta keep an eye on moves like knight d4 though. Taking c2 pawn, maybe my bishop a little bit. But b3 is a bit ugly with the bishop diagonal all the way to a1. Don't like b3, so I think I'm gonna go for rook b1. Just protecting, getting my rook off the diagonal. That all makes sense. Ouch, yeah, Carlsen and Vishenograd not having their best tournaments. I think Black's position is fine, by the way. It's probably more than fine. And knight d4. I don't want to give up my bishop like that, so I'm just going to defend with bishop d3. You know, he did pretty good out of the opening. He has a fine position. Yeah, f4 is something I might want to play. But with the queen on b6, playing f4 is, it's a bit scary. Because he has moves like, c4, knight e2, and suddenly I'm dropping my queen. So I have to be a bit careful about moves like f4 here. I'm not gonna play this move anytime soon. So he's planning on c4, trying to trap my bishop somehow, or at least win the c2 pawn. I kind of want to play b3 to stop this move, because I think the diagonal is not such a big deal anymore. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all if that's a good idea. Eh, I'm checking some other moves, but it's not so easy to find the best move here. b3 is kind of logical though. Yeah, my position is unstable. If I manage to stabilize my position, then I'm confident. But it's not so easy. Bishop is quite strong, so once I manage to evacuate the diagonal, I'm doing okay. But there's some tricky ideas. I don't really like if he gets rid of this knight and the bishop, he has some knight e2 winning the queen. So hey, falling ghost. So if he goes like queen a5, and if I move my knight, he can take this pawn. If I take back, he wins the queen. So I need to keep an eye on those moves. I think if he attacks, I go bishop d2. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's already something for him in the position here. 25 e5, not h5. Yeah. Queen a5, bishop. Let's use these colors. Queen a5, bishop d2. And maybe, just maybe he can. No. No, never mind. Bishop d2 is going to save the day. Bishop d2 is going to save the day here. Okay, good thing we checked f1. No need to think any longer about the move now. It's very shaky, I admit. It's very, very shaky. I'm gonna play rook e1 the next move when I get the time, because I'm sick of all these threats winning my queen. It still looks far away, but trust me, it's pretty close. b5. Okay, so he's going for it. Rook e1. Oh, he's gonna go c4, of course. How about I have knight d5? Queen takes, checkmate. Knight d5, forcing queen d8. Not winning. Now I'm getting greedy. I'm getting really greedy now. No, you don't need an add-on. You need to use Alt Shift or Alt Shift combined when drawing arrows with your right mouse click. You know what? Let's exchange this knight. Queen d8, knight takes f6. Get rid of the knight. No more pressure on e4. No more pressure on c3. Yeah, that feels like a relief. It would have been a nice checkmate. Maybe he doesn't see it and takes on d2, but I mean, I guess he will see it. Queen d8, yeah. So take the knight. This is the point where I am about to stabilize, I think. c4 is still coming though. c4 is trapping the bishop at this moment, also winning this pawn. So it's still an annoying little threat. Not so little threat, it's an annoying threat. Not little at all. Alright. Oh! Whoops. Once I move the bishop, he can probably go knight. Sorry. Once I move the bishop, he can go knight takes b3, I think. And this guy is hanging. So let me take once. Now go bishop f1, because now he's not taking a pawn on b3. and he doesn't have a good discovered attack. Maybe he can just go knight e2 check and take the bishop to reach some opposite color bishop position, which has some drawing tendencies, but then again his king is quite unsafe on the back rank, so I still think I have an edge there. Not a big one, but I still think I have an edge. Let's go bishop f4. Let's try to exchange these bishops maybe, because this pawn is still quite useful, as you can see. His king is in some sort of mating net, and if I manage to exchange the dogs for bishops, you know, queen g7 checkmate. It's not never far away. He's taking his time. Too much of his time. Queen a5. Okay, it's stopping bishop e5. Attacking this pawn. But I don't think he's threatening to take here because of bishop e5. So I'm gonna activate my rook. It's a bit random, but rook on the 7th rank can't be bad. Queen h5. What is he gonna do? What is he trying? Gonna go knight e2? No. Don't think so. You're gonna go g5 and snag that pawn? Might be. Might very well be. But I'm gonna take this pawn here. I'm not convinced. I'm not. Yeah, so he's gonna give this knight for that lousy bishop. I'm totally fine with that. So bishop e5, exchange this guy. That was the plan all along. So I'm gonna play that move. Now this is looking good. He played a very good game, but he collapsed at some point, or he overextended. Actually, a pre-move. Nah. We should be able to win this game in a normal way, DST. I guess he's aiming for bishop d6. This one. He has some threats at this point. I wanted to go bishop d4, but then queen d2. Then queen e3. That looks fine. Oh, but I'm just giving this pawn. Well, I wanted to go here anyway. Hey, now he's just in time trouble, so. I was calculating this a few moves back, but I guess this is easier. Yeah, the time got the best of him there. Yeah, you probably should have tried g5, queen takes h6. That's probably fine. Queen e6 was free rook. Yeah, but I wanted to go to the 7th rank anyway. I don't feel the need to preserve this game. I really enjoy the time I have to talk about the game. Ooh, the exchange Slav. Not the most exciting line, but still something I shouldn't underestimate. I think bishop g4 is a move. Yeah, the podium finish, I know, but I'm not playing for the podium finish. That's fine. Okay, this is a known line actually. He's not playing anything special. This is just some theoretical stuff here. I think Aronian played this with white. I'm not sure. Um, anyway, I'll just develop my pieces. He's gonna claim a space advantage. That's fine. In the meantime, I should try to prove that he's going a bit too far with his moves. I really like bishop d6 to try to exchange the bishop and then push e5. Once again, when he goes pushing the g-pawn, I want to open up the center, just like in the first game we played. My king is still in the center, so I'm not totally sure, but e5, pawn takes, knight takes, he has bishop b5 check. That's what I don't like. I don't want the check. I could either play a6 or castle. a6 prevents the check, and castling gets my king safe. Downside of castling, he might castle queenside and be much quicker with his attack on the king side. But I'm gonna castle anyway. I will let him rush my king. That's fine. Well, it's not fine, but I'll just take the gamble here. And maybe even take with the f-pawn. That's a bit weird to take with the f-pawn. But I want to pressure this f3 pawn. Take with the h-pawn, probably the most logical move. But then you can easily rush on the h-file. I'm kind of tempted to take with the f-pawn here. Even that looks a bit silly. I'll just go for it. Because now his rush on the h-file is not too impressive. Now I want to push e5. No, I don't. I want to take first on g3, then push e5. Yeah, that's what I want. What I'm trying to do is try to focus on these weak pawns, see if I can, allow my pieces to try and attack them. Yeah, so knight takes. Well, I guess I'm losing a pawn. I guess I'm just losing a pawn here. I missed knight f4 completely. Just completely missed it. Well, okay, it's not such a big deal. Let's seek for some counterplay. This attacks two pawns. Keeps him busy, I think. I'm going knight c4 as well. Also attacking both pawns. I'll go queen b6 first. Yeah, so e5 was a bit too much. I agree with you guys. A bit too much there. I do tend to overthink stuff in classical. This is a good example. Give me too much time to come up with enough crap, and I'll find you a shitty move. You could have took the bishop with the h pawn. Yeah, would have been possible. This was I made this decision on purpose. Might not have been the best move. Happens. Still, I'm not too upset with my position actually. His king will always be a bit unsafe, but the question is if I can get some pieces to put pressure on his king. That might be difficult. But I'm for sure worse here. That's quite obvious. Yeah, queen b3 is a good move. Forcing the exchange of queens basically. And then his king is not so unsafe anymore. But I'm winning a pawn in the process. Am I? Not winning a pawn in the process. I am winning a... no. This is difficult. I want to take here, knight takes. If I take on f3, king g2, if I move my knight somewhere, you always have some check. I take here, and then this pawn is hanging at the end of the line. In case you're still following, that's the whole problem, what's happening here. I can also take first, king g2. Maybe then play knight d2. So at least he doesn't get the chance to exchange the rooks. I quite like this. Hey Cheskudo. He's winning a pawn with rook takes f3. Yeah, I can take with the rook maybe, but I quite like this move order. Because now knight d2 is winning a second pawn. And if he goes rook takes f3, then knight takes. At least I have a very active knight on d5 instead of his knight being on d5. I just hope it's a slightly better move order. But maybe it's just nonsense. So this pawn is hanging at the moment. And if he takes on f6, I can take back with a pawn. And then at least I fix my pawn structure a little bit. Question is, do I want this pawn? Or do I want to create a bind with knight e4? I'm going to take the pawn. Let's say it goes rook b1. I can go to c5, protecting this guy. Yeah, it's looking quite good. I'll just take the pawn. Let's be greedy in this one. My classical rating, yeah, it's not high. I don't know. I never play classicals. Still have the cute question mark here. Oh, his position collapsed in no time. I didn't expect that. Queen b3 was a blunder, apparently. I thought it was a good move at first. Apparently, it was a huge mistake. Yeah, so rook b1, knight c5. Also covering the d7 square and the b7 pawn. So pretty much holding back both the rooks. That's a check. If I go here, he might take this pawn with trouble. Some checkmate ideas. I don't know. Let's move my king here. Just for safety reasons. Because I think he has to go back again to d5. He didn't really gain anything with that maneuver. Yeah, it was checkmate, yeah. King h8, knight g6, takes, check, great, check, knight h7, rook takes, and bring the second rook with checkmate. Was nice. I want to go b6 every time he plays something like rook c1. I think that's a very healthy move. And he resigns, okay. Yeah, just to show you guys this checkmate threat. It was quite cute. You go here, rook h1. Instead of knight h5, because if I go here, it's always nice to perform a checkmate like this. So at least it was quite dangerous what he was threatening there. So I'm glad I had king f7 here. Right, let's jump back in the tournament. Playing for tricks against tricks. I gotta get myself a water real quick, guys. Just gonna move in. Scandinavian. I'll take that pawn. So let's go knight f3. d4. So the reason I'm postponing knight c3, and the reason is I want to keep the possibility to push c4 immediately, like this. So you have like the normal Scandinavian, but with the pawn on c4 already, which is well, it's a big plus I think for the white position. c5. I always like to answer c5 with d5. I sure you don't want to take the pawn because I'm helping him develop his pieces. And I like this d pawn, but I'm never sure if it's a strong pawn or just an isolated pawn. But I think since it's a pass pawn, it can't be that weak. I mean, he's gonna play bishop d6 to protect, or Jennifer's, I don't know. Let's call her she. She's probably gonna go bishop d6, block the pawn, castle, and she's gonna try to play around the d5 pawn and maybe attack it at some point. But I think I have many resources to defend the pawn. Now bishop e7. I think the bishop is supposed to be on d6. Let's try bishop f4. You can push d pawn next move. If bishop d6, d6 is winning a piece, right? Am I missing something here? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, bishop e7 is a mistake anyway. Besides, castling is probably dropping a piece. But I think after bishop e7, bishop f4, you have to go bishop d6 again. And then I can give a check on e2, and you have to play some uncomfortable move if you don't want to lose material, like king f8. And then I have an edge for sure. So I think bishop d6 immediately would have been better. I'll just take this guy. I'm not scared of checkmate, because I just got bishop e2. I can castle on the next move. Also threatening to exchange the queens now, which makes things even easier for me. This is just an extra piece for a pawn, but like also has needs some time to develop pieces. Yeah, I'll just exchange queens. Happily exchange the queens. Let's cancel queen side. Just get my pieces out, exchange some stuff, and yeah, this is just a full piece. Look at these bishops; they're gorgeous. They're even so gorgeous, I'm considering to exchange one of them. But that's fine. Activate my rook. Exchange stuff, win a few pawns. Why not kingside castling? Because I wanted to activate my my rooks like this. And the queens are off the board, so I'm not concerned about the safety of my king. Yeah. As I mentioned, bishop e7 in the opening was a blunder, I think. Another Slav? Yes. Another Slav. Exchange Slav? Who knows? Nope. This is a new line. Normally bishop f5 is was supposed to be bad because you can take on d5 and go queen b3 and win a pawn. But that is quite okay. It's a known pawn sacrifice these days. So now I can get my bishop outside the pawn chain, which is a big plus for me. And queen b6. I think I can just go for queen b3. I think I can just go queen b6. That's fine. Maybe even queen c7. But I like these queen b6 structures, to be honest. It seems like, yeah, now I go queen c7. This move is normally speaking pretty good news for black. Because I can now target his pawn center with b6 and e5. E5 not directly, of course. Need to prepare first with knight d7 maybe. But I have clear targets now. And that's quite nice. I'll go b6 immediately here. Yeah, I think that's fine. Almost forcing white to take the pawn on b6. I'll take with the a pawn. Then I just develop my pieces. Castle. Oh, what? Oh, we're going for tricks. Holy crap. If I take on c5, I guess white's going to go a6 with the idea of queen b7. Which is pretty neat. It works, of course. But it can't work, right? No. It doesn't. This simply is. That's not going to work. I can just develop my knight to d7. I'm never forced to take the queen on b7 anymore then. I also go queen b6. That gives him a quite a dangerous pass pawn on a6. I'm not too sure about queen b6. I'll go knight d7. Fine. Queen b7, I just want to go queen c8. And I'll be up a pawn. This is stapel bet? No, that's different. That's g6 against the slow Slav. I think this is fine for me. Yeah, white has some small initiative maybe, but it's not gonna last long, I think. Yeah, this is just an extra pawn. I'm trying to find a way for white to make anything happen here, but I'll take with the knight. Just kicking the white queen out or forcing the exchange, both fine, because I'm just up a pawn here. Knight b3 is coming, threatening to win an extra piece. And I just have a very healthy position. There we go, knight b3 for the extra piece. Because I got b1 covered by the bishop. Maybe my knight is getting trapped on c1. But then again, then we're just exchanging a few pieces, and also the pawn is hanging at this point. So a bit of an experimental setup by white. I like this trick though. I like the trick he went for, but it's just not working. I'll just take the rook here. I can't imagine he has anything with just a pawn on the queen side. Yeah, he takes there. No, I'll just... I don't want to take back, of course, because bishop b5. But if I don't take back, I'm doing fine. Let's just go bishop b4. Just anything will do here. Yeah, I'm up a full rook. That should be enough. Hmm. Hmm. I go knight e4 and just move my knight from a1. Let's move this knight. Also stopping knight d4, which for some reason feels like a good idea. Let me just castle. Can also go king e7. Does it matter? I don't know. Still thinking about it though. I'm somewhat concerned about a possible bishop a3 at some point, so I'll just castle. I don't need to take any risk here. I have excellent position, so I don't need to do fancy. I probably should have played knight e4. He has no threat. I should have played knight e4 here. This is just a check and move my king, and I'm winning an extra piece. But okay, he resigned anyway. So let's jump back into the tournament. I think Hole01 is also a streamer. Not sure if he's streaming at the moment. Let me check. I think it's like Australian. Yeah, it's also streaming now. Why don't you use Berserk? Because I want to use my 10 minutes to just talk a bit about the game. I'm not here to win the tournament. That's not my intention. If I want to play, yeah, no, that's I just want to use the time to talk a bit about the moves. And if I win the tournament, fine. But if I don't, also fine. Uttara Pandawa. Sicilian. All right, there we go. A6. Okay, so the A6 line is quite tricky. You can go D4, but apparently the move C3 is quite good against this line. Yeah, sometimes you unintentionally win the tournament, but most of the times I don't. So now I'm being given a very healthy way to develop my pieces. I have a nice pawn center, and I'm gonna put my bishop on the same diagonal as the queen. I will go h3 and bishop h2 in case he attacks it. I will go rook e1, I'll go knight d2, I'll probably go queen e2, and this rook goes to c1 or d1, I'm not quite sure, depends how the game develops. This is my game plan, pretty much. And if he decides to capture d4, I'll take back with the pawn and put my knight on c3. But he's usually going to wait with capturing d4 once my knight is on d2, simply to not give me that extra possibility. So he goes e5, which is a little bit surprising to me. But maybe it's a good idea. I want to keep the tension though, so I'll play bishop g3 here. And I want to eventually jump a knight to c4 and pressure this pawn. I gotta be careful though, because I also don't want him to go knight h5 and exchange this bishop. I think I should play this move. Yep, let's play it. That's why bishop f4 was maybe a bit premature. Maybe I should have played h3 earlier. And after bishop f4, if he goes e5 is in the game, I can move my bishop back to h2 immediately. It's still a bit vulnerable on g3, but okay, that's can't do much about that one anymore. So knight d2. Trying to go knight to c4, and you know it's difficult for him to defend the pawn. It's quite difficult. But that's for now. I will have to take first an e5 because if I go c4, knight c4, he'll play b5, and I don't have the time to take with my pawn on e5. Or maybe I do. Hold on, knight c4, b5. I take on e5. Say he takes on c4. I'll take on f6. He takes on d3. I'll take on e7. Even attacking the rook and grabbing this pawn. Next move. That might be good for me. But knight c4, he takes on d4, pawn takes, and then goes b5. A bit tricky. Let's play a4 first. I don't really believe that line. It's probably fine for me, but I'm not totally convinced. At least after a4, this b5 pawn is at least under pressure. I'm not saying it's dropping or super weak, but this makes things a little easier for me in that line. Now it's time to go knight c4. I think. Yeah, knight c4 is fine. So he doesn't have b5 now, because b5 I can simply take, and the a pawn is pinned. At least you're dropping a pawn then. Move the bishop back to f8, so now the rook is defending e5, that's good. How to continue here? Should keep an eye on my e-pawn as well. He might be able to take on d4 and grab my e-pawn. The rook e1 is a logical move. I can also take on e5, pawn takes, and take it from there, which also looks good. I can also go a5, but then I'm just dropping this pawn maybe. Rook e1 is quite logical. I'm gonna go b6, bishop b7, I think. That's what his plan should be. Let's go rook e1. By not taking, I leave the option open to go d5. But I don't think he's gonna take on. Sorry, I don't think he's ever gonna take on d4. Because opening up the position should be in my favor. Okay, now he wants to push b5, so I play a5 now. After b5, I can take en passant, and then my knight on c4 at least has a nice square. And he isolates his a pawn when he decides to push the b pawn now. So he has some problems already, I think. It's not like he's dropping material, but you know, he's just lacking some space. And the e5, the pressure on e5 is very annoying. d5, well, for me or for him it's a bit weird, I think, I guess, because it's just dropping the pawn. d5 for me is an option, but I kind of want to keep the tension, because as you can see, he's all tied up to the pawn on e5, sorry, tied up to the pawn on e5 now. He needs these pieces to defend the pawn, so he can't move any of those, and you can see that it makes it quite difficult for him to find a healthy move. Because both bishops can't move. Sorry, that's the bishop. The rooks are tied up to the pawn, so it's the knight and the queen. Yeah, so his only piece is the knight. And you can't really do anything special with the knight at the moment. He goes h6. Alright. Now, I'm not claiming I have a cunning plan. I want to go queen b3, but maybe then he can play b5, and if I take, I'm getting my queen on the same file as the rook, and it's opening up. It's a bit ugly. It's also quite hard for me to attack this pawn fifth time. Okay, let's go. This is, hold on. I was considering to go here to eliminate the knight so I can win e5. But after bishop c2, this knight is hanging after a move like c takes d4. So maybe queen e2 is a move. Get this bishop maneuver in. But I don't really like put my queen in the same file as the rook on e8, but maybe it's not such a big deal. Let's also want to go queen d2, which just looks like a healthy move. Or just take first and then go bishop c2, a4. Options. I'll just take on e5. I have more ideas here, but this one looks. I'm giving him some space. I agree on that one. I don't want to waste too much time, and I don't want to put my queen awkwardly on e2, just to get his bishop maneuvering. So I'll just do it like this. I mean, the d6 square is not really giving him anything at the moment, because I'm controlling it with my knight. Yeah, so it's not such a big deal that I'm giving up on that I'm exchanging these pawns and giving up the tension. Also, I didn't really intend to go d5 anymore because he wasn't putting his bishop on b7, so d5 would have been to block the bishop on b7, but it's not there, so I like my plan playing bishop a4. Maybe I want to go knight e3 and put my knight on a pretty square. I have quite a few good moves. And he's still struggling to find squares for his pieces because his knight can't even move. And especially with the queen and the rook on the same diagonal, the e5 pawn is becoming a real problem for him. He can't just sacrifice it because that probably means he's giving up the exchange as well. So he goes knight h5. I guess he goes knight f4 after I move my bishop. Right, that's fine. If he goes knight f4, I'll take. Pawn takes, and I'll play e5. Queen d3 and try to checkmate him. Still limiting his options. Hey, my sick duck. If he wants to go f6, that's a terrible move. I'm threatening knight takes e5 already because the queen is indirectly attacking the knight. Yeah, so he goes there. Just stick to my plan. Push the e5 pawn. Still paralyzing the knight. He still can't move the knight. Queen d3 coming. e5 is well protected. And if he decides to defend with g6, I have a possible e6 to crack open this pawn structure. So I have a very straightforward plan at this point. And I don't really see what he can do about it. He should go b5 probably. Try to move his knight around a bit. Well played. Queen d3. This is getting interesting now. g6, e6. If he takes, take on f7. That's just winning for me. Don't go too quick here. I can also take en passant. Knight takes. Queen d3, g6. But then e6 is not so powerful because the bishop is guarding e6. So I want to go for this one immediately. Hey, Arcosteta. Also, knight d6 is a fine move. I have so many decent moves here. e6. I guess knight f6 makes a lot of sense here for him to play. Now, this is just a winning position. Has to be. Hey, I rush. I want to take here. And queen takes, so I can go knight e5, and he's dropping this pawn as well. Oh, this is terrible news for black. He managed to untangle himself. It's just too late. Unless he has bishop f5 here. But I don't think that's gonna save him. I always win a pawn somewhere. Maybe I'm not playing the most optimal way here. And maybe I've missed a quicker win, or I don't know. But it looks quite promising if you ask me. Bishop f5, I can even take the bishop. I will win a pawn in so many different ways. Maybe it's just a pawn, I could have had more. I mean, a pawn is a pawn, huh? The super cliche in chess. A pawn is a pawn. I guess I take on g6. I think it's the most straightforward play here. Knight c6 fork sometimes. Maybe you want to bring this knight to c6. He has to go rook e7, I think. Only move. Knight c6 he can still take here, so I'm not winning material. But rook e7, knight d4, and then I'm threatening like knight f5 or knight c6. One of those moves. I don't think he can stop all those threats. Besides, he's already down a pawn. Yeah, this is just winning the exchange on the spot. Pablos, do you have a girlfriend? Yes, I do. Hey, Kevin. c6, you can go rook e8. I'm not winning material yet, so I'll just go knight d4. These knights are just dominating. I have no other word for this than dominating. Hello, HT. Bring my second rook to the open file. I thought this is winning a piece for me because I have check, and I will go knight d7. I'll take on d5, and there's two pieces hanging. He has a nice one. What is that? You don't judge these things by chess achievements. Yeah, knight takes, rook takes, d5, and double attack. Yeah, well, I must say I'm pretty proud of this game. I think it was a pretty good game. I didn't really give him a chance to get any sort of counterplay. We're playing the number one. That's always nice. Let's go for d6 again. The first time we got to play this, it was a bit weird. I think d5 is a move here. I think it's actually a legit move. Do I want to play it in this game? Probably not. It's exchanging quite a few pieces, so not necessary. Right, so now, okay, his center is very solid. Can we do something about that? Hmm, let's just develop my pieces. Let's not overthink this too much. What's been up? That's a question to me. There's nothing much, just playing some classical chess for the first time ever, I think, on stream. And I must say, it's good fun actually. So he's getting quite some space, and I don't really like that. I want to make sure if knight f5, I can get my bishop back to f8. So he goes for f4. That is probably a good move. I already kind of regret not going d5 in the opening, because he's just I should be careful not letting this become a walkover. Let's develop my bishop eventually. Knight g6. That is your girlfriend. Yeah, that's my girlfriend. Quite creepy when you guys start googling her, though. I think this is a mistake because now I can get hold of the bishop on f4. Because he can't go to e3 because I go knight g4 and I'll exchange this dark for a bishop. And if he goes to g5, I'll play h6. I'll just get a pair of bishops. Yeah, so he just hands over the bishop like that. Now, a pair of bishops is not super strong. I'm really tempted to go like knight d7, knight f8. I can bring this bishop to life on g5. But maybe c5 is an idea. To try and put pressure on his center pawns. Combination with queen b6 maybe. Yeah, let's go for this one. I didn't really see how he can attack me. The knight on f6 is doing a pretty good job of holding the queen out so far. Therefore, I want to leave it on f6 for now. I don't live in Amsterdam. Nope, I live in Tilburg. So he goes d5, and now knight d7 becomes really interesting because he just killed his own bishop. Knight d7, knight e5. That's super tempting. But knight d7, knight f5. Probably have bishop g5 as an intermediate move, and then I have time to protect the pawn later on. Yeah, I'll have to go knight d7. My only move. It's just the only move. I might give him some chances now to become active, but I think he cannot get active enough to really punish me. Yeah, rook f1. Well, that's just like surrendering. He should have played that so much more aggressive than what he just did. Yeah, this is like surrender. This should be very good for me. Knight f3 coming though. Have to be a bit accurate here. I think I'm gonna go g6 to stop the knight from jumping to f5 or h5. And I'm just gonna make sure I maintain the e5 square. Yeah, look at this bishop. That's a pretty bishop. Alright, queen f3. Makes sense. I think queen e7 is the normal reply here for me. Set up my pieces. Maybe even bishop b5. But also b5, b4 is interesting, just to strengthen my bishop. Let's go b5, b4. I mean, nothing's happening on the king side anyway. I have a firm control over the king side. His knight can jump whatever he wants. He might get to d3 though. But that's all. But let's stop that anyway. Why allow the knight there? No need to do that. Just jumping to d4, but that's not such a big deal, I think. Play a5 and b4. Yeah, just push here. I can defend with rook b8, but I can also play it straight away. Playing so fast, but he's not really playing that good. If I'm being honest. I'm hardly using any pieces, as you can see, just the bishop and the rook here, and the rest is defending. But that's because I'm probably just dominating the position, and he played a few strange strategical moves, I think, and paying the price now. He's paying the price. Maybe rook b1 is what he has to play. I don't think he wants to play it, but yeah, he has to. d3, bishop d1. Now I can take here, I think. Knight takes, I can take the pawn. But I just noticed you can still take with the pawn, and I can't take on c2 yet because b8 is hanging. When I take on d1, he takes back with the bishop. Knight c1. Oof. Don't mind seeing that move. Let's double up my rooks on the b file. Or the a file, or I don't know, anywhere. Just dancing around a bit. Shouldn't dance around for too long, but for now it's possible. Not sure what's the best place to put pressure. I think I might want to go bishop e8. Just protecting f7, and I can start using my queen. Because the bishop and these pawns are just holding back all his other pieces. I don't see a clear breakthrough yet on this side of the board. I'm not seeing it, guys. Should get my rook back on the a file. I don't think he has a plan either, but still. Targeting the c pawn. Actually seeking counterplay now. Ah, and he gets to play e5 if I move the bishop. Okay, he is quite clever. I have to give him that. He played this quite clever. Alright. Well played, sir. Well played. I've been dancing around for too long. That's quite obvious now. And maybe he's gonna punish me for that. But for now, it seems like I might be winning material, actually. You can just move the knight. But then the c-pawn is hanging. You can move the knight there, but that's a bit strange. I think. Let's hope I'm not missing anything now. It's getting tactical. I think I can just take on c6. Before I can pin the bishop somehow. Maybe with the rook or the queen, I'm not sure. This one exchanges queens. But I think I'm the one who wants to keep the queens on the board, because I think his king is more vulnerable than mine. Queen here, maybe queen c2. Unpinning and attacking my bishop. Forces me to play a strange move. I'm just going for this one. Oh, but then I'm dropping my c-pawn. Okay, queen e6 it is. And queen c2, I'm just gonna move my queen, move my rook to c8, I guess. And if he takes the bishop, I'll take his. Let's go to d8 now. Don't want to risk bishop d5. It's getting a bit messy. I should speed up here. He's been playing quite quickly so far. So I'm up 2 pawns. Yeah, so he takes there. That was expected. Oh, let's not get myself checkmated. Let's see if we can try and find a way to get my pawn further. He should have played rook c1, I think, forcing me rook c8. Yeah, but now this should be winning for me, right? Maybe put the rook over there. Can run there, but let's put the rook over here. Normally you put the rook behind the pawn, but here I want to put it over here. I can get my king closer. Put it here, because else you had g4 maybe. Okay, it should be fast, but accurate as well. My technique is known to be shit, so let's hope it's not that bad now. Actually looking quite bad. Looking terrible. King d2, please. Please. This is getting messy and it's probably gonna end in a draw. because I'm either running out of time or the position is simply not winning. I'm quite confident. Now I'm quite confident. The thing is, can I pull it off in 20 seconds? Hmm. Building a bridge. Oh, he's making things easy. Well, can I pull this one off? Well, that was close. Didn't expect the classical game to end like this. Holy crap. Oh, that's a way to use your time efficiently. Queen takes g6 on move 42. Bravo. Queen takes g6 on move 42. Oh! Oh, crap. You're so right. Oh, how did I miss that? I saw bishop g6 coming and I already planned h takes g6, so I didn't think anymore in that position. But yeah, queen takes g6. Oof. Yeah, the endgame was quite tough. Ooh. Yeah, I wasn't reading chat anymore at that point, so okay, another d6 because the previous game was so smooth. Hmm. And yeah, Nimzo, he played the endgame quite terrible considering how much time he had. Also going for bishop d3. Okay, let's go for d5 this game. I don't know. Just because I was thinking about it for so long the previous game, I'll give it a shot in this game. But I must say, my theory ends here. I know it's possible. But I'm not sure what is the best continuation. I can take here now, bishop takes. I can take on d4, forcing pawn takes, and then play a move. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, this looks healthy for me. Bishop g5 cannot be the best. I'm not sure if he knew the opening line because he played it quite quickly. But you would think you need some time after d5 to find a good move. Okay, so he takes, I'll take on d4. Now queen takes is losing a piece because I'll take with the queen and suddenly the knight is unpinned and I can just take the bishop on the next move. So he's forced to either take on f6 Or take with the pawn on d4, or just play a developing move. You can also go knight f3. Yeah, that's not so bad. I wanted to go bishop e7 here. I'm not gonna grab the pawn because that's gonna end very bad for me. Queen e7 looking interesting, but I think he just castles. If I take rook e1, it's gonna win the queen. I want to go bishop e7, unpin this guy, forcing him to probably take. Then I can castle, and at least I have the pair of bishops in an open position if he takes on f6. That's quite nice. And I got d4, well, under attack, presuming he will take back the pawn eventually. Yeah, it's quite solid for black, but doesn't mean it's bad. So what happened with the way things are going here? See if I missed some messages. Okay, cool. Queen a4. Yeah, queen a4 check is just a check. I'll just play. No, I play c6. I think it's just a check. I don't see anything scary happening. Yeah, so he takes on d4. So now he has the isolated pawn, and I have the pair of bishops, which is well, pretty good for me, I guess. I just need to develop my pieces. And I should be careful not to allow him to push d5. Hmm. I want to go bishop g4, but obviously b7 is hanging. If I go c6, he will probably play knight c3, and his idea to go d5 is pretty much unstoppable, and that's what he wants. He wants to exchange his isolated pawn. If he manages to do so, then he's no longer in any trouble if he already was in trouble. But it's a nice way to get rid of your isolated pawn. Just play d5. That concerns me a little bit at the moment. Going rook e8 hardly makes any sense because he will still go knight c3. But at least then he can't push d5, yeah, because bishop will exchange the knight and the bishop on e4 is hanging. Alright, let's give c6. No. No. Let me think. Yeah, okay, c6, whatever. I will just allow d5. I can't block everything. In the end, I'm still black, so I can't really force an edge out of the opening every time. h3, so he's scared of bishop g4, and yeah, I can imagine why. But still, once I go bishop e6, he goes knight c3, and I don't want to put a piece on d5 and being forced to take back with a pawn. That's not really helping me. Maybe I should develop knight a6, knight c3, and maybe knight c7. Still, he's always going to push d5. I'm just not happy with him pushing d5. Okay, let's change plans. Let's go queen b6. I'm not sure. I just need to make a move here. Yeah, well, first he plays knight c3, and then he will go d5 eventually. I just hate the position opening up, and when these pawns disappear from the board, his bishop is targeting b7, which is just annoying. And that's why I also play queen b6 to protect this pawn for later, and to attack the b2 pawn a bit more. I have to go g6 though, because he's attacking h7, knight c3 would make sense. Maybe he wants to protect the d4 pawn. Maybe, yeah, that's what he wants. But still, also this move is supporting a possible d5 push. But I can't. Ah, now I can go knight a6. Yeah, but knight b4. I got with tempo now. So a3, another slow move. Now I might be in time to put enough pressure on d4, so also to block d5. And bishop b3 is threatening, of course, so didn't even see this. Yeah, he needs to do something about that as well. So now he spent a lot of moves on nothing, basically. Keep an eye on my queen though. Did I don't trap my queen somehow? Knight c3 makes sense. Let's try jumping here. Is that terrible? It is somewhat annoying. Can I stop it? Doesn't look like it. Still scared of my queen. a5, knight a4, queen a7, knight c5. Can take that pawn, right? Yeah, I'll just go for a5. I should speed up a little as well. Time is running out quite quickly. Almost below 5 minutes. Well, that's some good promotion here. D shot. Knight a4, queen a7. Who's your favorite all-time player? That's a difficult question. Let me take here. Yeah, that's really cool. I'll take 2 rooks for the queen. Which is generally okay if you have 2 rooks. I'm concerned about this pawn, which I actually missed when I was calculating this at first. Maybe just go rook a2. Capture this pawn. An interesting game. I'm not sure who's better. I'm not sure at all who's better. I'm not sure if I can win the f2 pawn because my rook might be trapped somewhere. I should calculate this depending on where the queen goes, because I'm slightly concerned my rook might get trapped. But it seems like I can always go back to a2 anyway. Yeah, this is difficult to say, Zeverzak. I think the position of your king is quite relevant, and the amount of pawns is also relevant. Normally speaking, the 2 rooks are slightly better against the queen. Let's put it like this: if you have an equal amount of pawns, the 2 rooks are normally better, because if you attack with 2 rooks, if you attack a pawn, you can only defend it with the queen and the king. But if you exchange all the pieces, then you just be up a pawn, if you follow what I'm trying to say. If you have 2 rooks, you attack a pawn, he's defending with the queen and the king. You can always take that pawn, because after all the exchanges you have an endgame, a pawn endgame with an extra pawn. And the queen by itself has issues to, to capture pawns Especially in certain pawn structures, it's very difficult. Although I hope so. I really hope so. He's trying to find a good square for the queen now, I think. And it appears it's not easy. Maybe he wants to stay on the c file. Kind of makes sense to go there, maybe. Because if he eventually takes the pawn on b7, the c6 pawn is gonna fall, most likely. He goes d1 instead. I'm really tempted to just take the pawn on f2. Ooh, should be careful, knight d7. Almost tricked myself there. I'll take this pawn. Whatever. I hope he's not gonna win my rook now. I really hope he's not gonna win my rook. It's a bit dangerous what I'm doing, I admit. Okay, now I can play this one. The idea is if he takes, I have knight e3 threats, trying to win the queen. The knight takes, I'm threatening to take here, followed by knight e3 with a double attack. So let's see if I can actually make that work. Yeah, now he starts a bit annoying. At least preventing that plan. Good for him. Let's get my rook safe. Far away from all the action. If I can activate my second rook, then the endgame looks pretty good. I guess knight c5. He has to keep an eye on knight f4. It is already quite annoying for white, I think. As like here you can see the white queen has trouble trying to achieve anything. While if I get my rooks on the second rank somehow, the pressure on this g2 pawn is just unbearable, and the queen by itself, if my king is safe, the queen is quite lousy by itself. Gotta keep an eye on this move. Also knight d6. But these knights are incredibly annoying. I mean, knight f4, knight d7. Should be winning for me somehow, but let's see how. So knight f4, knight d7. I can take here, h1, take on d4. I can take the rook. I can check, win the queen, wins a pawn. I don't know what's happening there. Maybe I should have gone rook b2, so then I could play rook a8, a2 at this point. This pawn is under attack. Yeah, he's just being annoying now. He's being really annoying. Let's take my time here to find a suitable move. This feels like an important moment in the game. Let's go knight f4. I will go knight f4. I just give it a try. I hope this works. I'm not sure. Knight d7. This is an interesting line, but I think I will end up with a few extra pawns. Takes, bishop takes. I have 2 extra pawns. You can win one back. 1 extra pawn might not be enough. But maybe after knight d7 I have more options. Maybe I can just try to checkmate his king. We'll see. We'll see what he plays. And knight d7. Hmm. Okay, I'll take. Taking can't be bad. King h1. You can just play that move. Yep. If he takes on f8, I can win back the queen. Like this, queen takes, bishop takes, but you can play knight takes g6. This pawn also hanging. Should be enough, but maybe I have more. Now, but if I take here, he's gonna go queen e4, yeah? Really annoying. Let's go for this one. Also, the h3 pawn is hanging, so I think I'll take back with the f pawn on g6. Those pawns on the edge of the board are quite difficult for a knight to defend. But I get the feeling this is drawish. Maybe knight takes g6, I should just take here. Keep the bishop instead of the knight. He goes to d7. Alright. Oh, this is a terrible square because he's always going to win this pawn and then my bishop is under attack. But I can at least go here to attack this pawn. Yeah. Bishop d4 is a bit of a strange move, I must admit, but he's running out of time. He spent too long. Yeah, no more time. I'm not sure if this is a winning endgame, guys. I'm not sure. He's going to pause the tournament because I don't have time for the last round, 20 more minutes. Let me check the endgame though. Let me just check the endgame. Let me just check a few moves back. That was the interesting part. Here I decided to go for the... Yeah, so taking a b4 is correct. Queen takes, rook takes, king h2. Rook a2 was also the best move. Queen c1, queen d1. I take on f2. Took on b7. Yeah, rook a8. I was a bit too excited with my idea to win the queen or some tricks, obviously. But rook a8. Yeah, it's just a good move. Trying to get my rook to a2. This is where the rook's supposed to be on the second rank. So I missed a chance there. A very good chance because after bishop d5, queen e1 is a good move. I went to a2. Here's just nothing special. I have a small edge, but I get the feeling it just turns into nothing when we reach the endgame. Now bishop g5. I considered the move, but I didn't really see the point. What if he goes knight d7, or is it now a useless move? Ah, it's just useless. Just go rook a8. Now bishop f4 check, king h1, rook a1. Yeah, this is looking quite good. So bishop g5 would have been the best move. Alright. Oh, rook a8, yeah. I should activate my rooks. What I did was also possible. I was checking this move, bishop takes d4, but I didn't see the difference after knight takes. I didn't. Oh, bishop e5, rook takes g2. I didn't see how I could try to create a win here. Ah, knight e2, protecting both pieces and threatening bishop e5. It's quite complicated, but as you can see, I just need to get my pieces active and close to his king. Then there's always some tactic arising. But it's quite tricky because queen e4 attacks the knight. I have rook f1 apparently. It's getting a bit messy here, but this would have been best. Um, anyway, I took on g2, took on d4, and now I have g1, knight d7. What about knight g6? Not so bad. Ah, interesting. So take. Do not take this pawn, because I'm gonna lose this pawn here. But apparently play knight d3 and win this pawn. And also defending the c6 pawn immediately. Then 2 extra pawns should be an easy win. Right, so knight d7, and yeah, bishop d4 was terrible. Bishop e3 would have been better. I agree. Bishop d4, now knight a5 and knight takes c6 almost come with tempo. And just, I'm not sure if the tempo is that important, but there's no need to waste the tempo. But oh well. Let's see, the tournament finished. Homer for Hans. Well played, sir. Congrats on the tournament win. 32 points. Quite nice. Yeah, it was good fun, guys. I must say, I really like classical in the stream. That's just entertaining stuff. So, I'm gonna wrap it up here. We have the Norway chess starting in 2 minutes. Probably a lot of action, guaranteed once again. And I'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place, 1 p.m. Central European Standard Time. Summertime, I mean. Yeah, summertime. If you want to see some more, make sure to check my YouTube channel or follow the Twitch channel or whatever. Check my Facebook, Twitter. There's stuff everywhere. The Lead Chess fan club as well. So many places to find some more stuff. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being here. All of you, over 100 viewers. That's always nice. Enjoy the Norway chess, and hopefully see you guys later. Thanks a lot, and cheers.